Hello and welcome to the Evidence-Based Practice and Athletic Training 2 course, or ATR 700B. My name is Dr. Jim Ave and I am the instructor for our class. I want to welcome you to our time together. If you haven't already downloaded the syllabus, please do that. And at the top of the syllabus, you'll see the Bible verse that I have picked for this class. This verse is from 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 8 and 9 from the English Standard Version. And Peter wrote, "Though you have not seen him," and I put in brackets Jesus, so you know who Peter is talking about. "Even though you have not seen Jesus, you love Jesus. Though you do not see him now, though you do not see him, you believe in him and rejoice with joy that is inexpressible and filled with glory, obtaining the outcomes of your faith, the salvation of your souls." The reason why I picked this verse is because of the word outcome, because we're going to be talking about patient outcomes. So I thought that was a nice tie-in about what is the context here. We're obtaining the outcome of your faith. What is the outcome of our faith? It's the salvation of your souls. That means that we get to live with Christ in heaven forever. And not only in heaven, if you see what the Bible teaches, is that one day there's going to be a new earth that God is going to provide, and we're going to be, believers in Christ are going to be resurrected and able to live in the new earth, in the new world, new universe, with God as he originally intended before the fall. So let's move on. I have my contact information here, which you can see in the syllabus. I have my email there, my phone number, my office hours. So if you have questions about the class, I would recommend starting there at the Q&A forum, because more than likely if you have a question, everybody else has the same question. I may be trying another way to communicate with students. I'll give you information about that in class. So we'll see if that works. Continue that with other classes I teach. You can also contact me via email. I'm pretty much on my computer quite a bit, and I'll try to respond within 24 hours. It's usually quicker than that. You can also text me, and we can set up a time to talk on the phone. That would be best if we want to talk on the phone. My schedule is kind of busy, multiple meetings and those type of things, so it's best that I can set time aside to make sure that I can answer your questions. I want to make sure I dedicate the time that I have with you on the phone or in person, if you happen to live locally and you want to come by, so I can help you. So again, I'm here to help. If I'm not clear on my expectations, my directions, I try to be, but what I think is clear, sometimes it's not. My wife tells me that a lot. So if you're not sure of what I am expecting of you, please ask. I'd rather you just ask the question than not ask the question, because a lot of times I am not clear, or sometimes you're unsure, and so just ask the question. Because I want you to be successful. I want every student in my class to be successful. We're using the same books that we used in the ATR 700A class, so no new books, but a lot of journal articles you can see in the syllabus. And typically with graduate level courses, we want to enhance textbooks with journal articles, try to read the more current information about the materials. Some of the articles you'll see are foundational articles about these topics that we're going to go over in our class. In our first class, you went and got a bunch of articles about your topic. In this class, I'm providing you some articles. You're still going to do some research, but I'm trying to provide you some additional resources too. So the topics that we're going to cover in our second evidence-based practice class, because in our first evidence-based practice class we addressed one major topic. And we spent the whole class talking about critical analysis. How do we critically analyze the evidence? The evidence that we use is journal articles, original research, systematic reviews, meta-analysis. How do we know that when we have a clinical question, how do we know if the evidence that's out there is any good? So we went over how to critically analyze the research articles. Is it valid? Is it reliable? And in the end, we had to answer the clinical question, how does this affect the way that I should provide care for my patients? Yet evidence is out there, but actually if we look at the journal articles that are out there, there's really not very good evidence to do one thing or the other, or there is really strong evidence to do one thing or another. And then should we even make those changes based on our clinical experience? So that's what the first class we covered. In the second class, we're going to talk about some other ancillary topics in evidence-based practice, which again, in some of your undergraduate or professional programs, you've probably covered a lot of these topics. But the goal is to go over them again, because a lot of times, just because you covered it once in a class doesn't mean you understand it. And how does it affect the way that you provide care for your patients? That's one of the purposes of a post-professional program, is they go in further depth in the materials that we've covered in our professional program, because a professional program is entry level. It's the basic material that you should understand and know when you pass your BOC exam. Well, we shouldn't stop growing there. We need to continue to learn more about our topics that affect patient care. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff that has to do with patient care in this class. This first one's disablement models. Again, you probably covered that before, but how does this concept, this theory, how does it actually apply to your patient care? Because when you did this as in a professional program, you weren't working as a professional. Yeah, you were a student. Now you're working as a professional. You are actually making those decisions. You're held responsible for the decisions. People are looking to you to make those decisions on how to provide care for your patients. The other topic we're going to spend a lot of time on is patient-oriented outcomes, also known as POO, which is probably not a very good acronym. So we use patient-rated outcome measures, or PROM. So it's not so POO-like in our acronym. We'll spend a lot of time on that. Actually, our signature assignment's going to address this. We're going to spend some time in clinical prediction rules, healthcare informatics, and diagnostic accuracy. All these topics could be a whole full class in a program. So we're still going to touch on these. Hopefully you'll have greater understanding of each one of these topics after you finish this class. So our assignments for this class is we'll have our weekly devotionals that you can see in the course, what those are about. As typical, let's be gracious to one another. We may not always agree with what other people's post, what they post, and their thoughts about the material, but we can still be gracious about these. As a reminder, I am reading your devotionals. I typically don't insert myself into the devotionals because I want you guys to feel the freedom to post what you have. And again, it's just the purpose of these is just to have the opportunity to have a discussion about our faith journey. We'll have, I'm not sure every week we'll have learning activities, but almost every week we'll have either a forum post or a written assignment turned into me. Will be different in this class than with the first evidence-based practice classes. We're not going to have rough drafts for your signature assignment like in the first class. Most of the learning activities will be geared towards the material for that week. Just because in the signature assignment it just didn't work out to have rough drafts for that, because I'll talk about the signature assignment, the patient rated outcome measures assignment, in more depth in another post. But basically with our prom assignment, you're going to pick a prom and actually use it for a couple weeks on your patients, and then address a bunch of other things. But I want you to really spend time in that paper to address the outcome. How did it work? Did it help you in your patient care? And then you also complete, I think it's 2 ATPBRN classes during your time in this class. And then you'll turn in your certification. So you'll get additional evidence-based practice certifications. I have covered this material in pretty much any class that you've been in because I think it's important to cover. That's why I talk about it. Let's focus on learning. Yes, grades are important, but I want you to have the attitude that I want to learn this material. And it's not about the grade, it's about the learning of the material. And again, as I have said earlier, if you're not sure what I expect, please ask questions. I don't know. That's one of the things that kind of breaks my heart when I turn stuff back into a student, and a student says, "Well, I thought this is what you wanted. Now this is what I wanted." When I respond back, I thought this. Well, you should have asked, and I could have clarified that for you. So let's just ask questions. Time management. We're all busy. You're busy. Spend time every single day. Excuse me. Working on this class. Little froggy. That could be in the morning, that could be at night. Whatever it is, I would recommend that you spend time every single day working on this class and whatever other classes that you're taking in our grad program. Don't wait till the last minute to do the work. There's just too much material in this course and all your courses to wait till the last minute to do everything. And why would you spend the amount of money that you're spending on tuition and not really get everything you can out of this degree? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because I'm cheap. I want to get my money's worth, and I'm trying to give you your money's worth with my courses that I developed for you and the program as a whole. So spend the time every single day doing a little bit. Sometimes you have to read articles, sometimes you have to write, sometimes you're responding to forums, all those different things that you have to do in a typically online course. Do it every single day. Our course requirements, again, this is nothing new. Submit your assignments on time. If you're sick, something's going on, really busy during the week for whatever reason, I get it, I understand it. Just let me know. One thing that kind of frustrates me is when students email me at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. on a Sunday. I've been sick for the last 3 weeks or 3 days. Well, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, just let me know what's going on, okay? That's all I require. Now, if it becomes a habitual thing, that's a different story. Follow the assignment directions, as I've said before. I'm trying to be clear. If I'm not clear, please ask. Formatting matters to me. I tried to provide you a template for the signature assignment, and if you don't have the APA template that I have, email me and I'll shoot it to you. That way all your papers that you turn into me are following APA. If you haven't used Grammarly already, please use it. I have the link in the, I can't remember what class I put it in. I'll try to remember to put it in this class too. If you haven't already used Grammarly, please remove the remarks, comments from Grammarly that you get with feedback. There's also an online version where you can just submit the paper online. and I'll give you feedback. I'd also recommend that you add the add-on in the web browser that you use. If it's in Chrome, Firefox, or whatever, Safari, they usually have a add-on for Grammarly to help you with your forum posts. I use it because I'm not a very good writer myself, and I'm a horrible speller, so I use that to make sure that my posts are somewhat correct. Forum are typically, well, they are considered coursework. You are expected to support what you write with evidence or with references. Now, that's not true for the devotionals. That's a different thing. But for assignments, you are expected to support what you write with references and cite them in the forums, and have a reference page or whatever, reference post where you got your references from. Unless I'm asking, or your professor's asking for personal application or personal experience, that's a different thing. Don't know if you actually check your Fresno Pacific email address. You do have an FPU email address, and you should be checking that. And if you're not, please set that up. Contact our IT department to figure out how to do that, or check the Fresno Pacific University email website to do that, because you are held. If I post any announcements, they go to your email, and I hold those hold you accountable to any emails I send out. I typically do use your non-FPU email, but you are still expected to use your FPU email, especially for your other classes where the other faculty in this program do not have your non-FPU email. I'm the only one that has that because I'm the program director. In assignments, I'll give you feedback. Please read that. Why do I give you feedback? It's because I'm trying to teach you. If you're not clear on something, and if I'm not clear on the feedback, please ask the question. Shoot me an email. Hey, you wrote this. I'm not quite understanding what you're talking about. Can you help me with this? I don't understand why I got this grade. All those things you should ask, because that is what I want you to do. I want you to ask questions. Since we are online, we don't have that interaction face to face, which we lose a lot of things because of that. And one of those things is, just asking questions in class about things. So let's ask those questions. Don't be afraid to ask me a question. I'm here to help you, and I want you, as I said earlier, I want you to be successful in our class.